Come to your mats. We're going to start off with some Bastriki voice breath again, really quickly, just to wake ourselves up, because I'm finding it to be such a fun breath to wake up. So where you're at, I promise you'll start waking up with this. Come to a seated position, legs crossed. Bring your hands into fists at your shoulders, forearms close to your body, elbows close to your body. We breathe in and we open our hands wide. We stretch up tall with the breath in, and then we drop our elbows down close to our bodies again. So it's going to be in and out through the nose. Just join me when you're able to. We're going to go about 30 breaths, wake ourselves up, and then I'll share the theme for today. In when our arms are up, out with that, when our elbows are down. Close your eyes. If you're going at a slower pace, start picking it up as we move along. We're waking ourselves up. Having our elbows and our forearms hit our ribs as we come down, stretching up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands, palms facing up on your knees. Just breathe in and out through your nose, hopefully having woken yourself up a little bit. As you all know, I am a twin, and that allows for some good comparisons, which have caused great joy and great sadness at different times. But one thing that's fascinating in being a twin is looking at our kind of our set points as it comes to happiness, outlook on life, attitude, and we're not even identical twins, but you can see just such a difference in the way that we kind of approach and look at life. One is more optimistic, one is more doom and gloom pessimistic. And that's not a judgment, because in that there's beauty in the difference between the outlook, and there's purpose in both. But as I was reflecting on the concept and the topic of optimism, the Dalai Lama says, choose to be optimistic. It feels better. So I've been reflecting on just when I go into a more pessimistic state, which sometimes looks like realism and practicality. Sometimes that can take me into a place where my body physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally just feels heavy. In a Harvard study, they found that yes, we all have a set point in terms of our general outlook on life. Do we look at things with hopefulness, confidence regarding the future or outcomes? Or do we look at it more a little bit like, oh no, what's going to happen? I've got to really, make sure I short everything up because it's going to go bad. The study has found that people with an optimistic outlook enjoy healthier and longer lives. They live more likely to live to the age of 85 or older compared with less optimistic individuals. The beauty about our optimism or outlook set point, what we were born with, is that we can actually develop this muscle. So today I want to invite in just a spirit of optimism and the benefits of seeing the hopefulness, the confidence in the future. So our intention today, as you breathe there, optimism is my natural state of being. My thoughts, feelings, and actions are aligned to optimism and possibility. I am a giver of optimism and happiness to all of those around me. So come to a cat-cow position, as we often start. Just thinking about, as you're shifting your hips from left to right, you can begin some gentle cat-cows. The method for increasing our optimistic set point, we get out. That was one of the things that I read. We get out, we get outside, we breathe. We see the beauty in things. We express gratitude. Go ahead and shift your hips up to a downward facing dog, walking your hips from left to right. We focus on solutions and lean into possibility, and we spend more time focusing on ourselves rather than how to control situations and other people. Drop your knees down to a table and to a cow. Spread your collarbones open. Stretch that heart out and forward. And then shift your hips up to a downward facing dog. Let's do 3 more of those on our own. Dropping into a cow when we come down, to a breath in. When we breathe out, we shift our hips up to the sky. Wherever you are at, meet me in a downward facing dog, pressing firmly into your hands. Let's choose to be optimistic. It feels better. Lift your left leg all the way up to the sky. Flex your foot. See if you can stretch it up even a little bit higher, creating a great big obtuse angle between your 2 feet. And then swing your left foot in between your fingertips. Come into a high lunge here. So you can shift your hips back and forth just a little bit, waking them up. Beautiful. And then place your right hand onto the mat. Stretch your left hand up to the sky for a nice, gentle twist. Gazing at your left hand up at the sky. Breathing deeply. Opening our hearts. Breathe in. Your next breath out. Bring your hand to frame your foot. Step back into a plank and flow through a chaturanga to an upward facing dog or cobra. Take 3 breaths here in upward facing dog or cobra, shining your heart forward. We can be realists with a twinge of optimism. Shift your hips to the sky, downward facing dog. Raise your right leg up to the sky, stretching open. Keep that left knee bent a little bit if you're not ready for too giant of a stretch. And then swing that foot through into a high lunge. And shift your hips back and forth a moment, just gently waking them up. And then come to a static high lunge. Press your left hand firmly into the mat. Reach your right hand up to the sky for a nice twist. Gazing up at that right hand. Breathing deeply. Thinking about what muscle you'd like to develop. Bring that hand to frame your foot. Step back into a plank and flow through chaturanga to upward facing dog. We're waking our bodies up. Shift your hips up to the sky, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Raise your left leg up to the sky again and swing it through, rising up to a warrior 1. Swinging your arms up and overhead, palms facing each other. Back foot at 40 degrees, press firmly into the ground, into the mat. Pressing firmly into your front foot. Make sure your hips are both facing forward. If you need to adjust your hips to face the wall in front of you, creating a greater stretch on that back leg. Breathe deeply. Keeping your arms up ever so slightly, make the gentle movement of moving that back foot to face forward into a crescent lunge. So we're coming up high on those back toes. You might need to shift your toes back a little bit to create a wider stance. Just those subtle movements in our muscles can bring us into a completely new posture. Stretching your arms up, hips both facing forward. Bring your hands to heart center, pressing firmly into your hands at prayer pose. We're going to twist to the left and drop that elbow to our left knee into a prayer twist. Subtle muscles. Make sure your feet are not on a tightrope. If you need to shift them to the left and to the right to create some more space. One more deep breath in. Deep breath out. Your next breath in, rise up to stand, and then swing your hands around to frame your front foot, step back, flow through a vinyasa, upward facing dog or cobra, and then shift your hips up to the sky, downward facing dog. Raise your right foot up to the sky and swing it through in between your feet and rise up to warrior one. And just gentle adjustments, front knee over ankle, strong 45-degree foot at the back, pressing firmly into the foot. Optimism feels better. Make sure your feet are railroad tracks. And then in this strong, powerful position, shift that back foot into a crescent lunge. Toe heel it back. Take up more room on your mat. Breathing deeply. Bring your hands to prayer pose in front of your body, and then with a twist, shift to your right into a twist, a crescent lunge twist. You can gaze up at the ceiling or keep your gaze down at your toe in front of you. Breathing deeply. Two more deep breaths in and out. And then bring your hands to frame your front foot, step back, flow through a vinyasa, cobra or upward facing dog. Hips to the sky, downward facing dog. And then tiptoe your feet to the front of your mat behind your wrists. Bring your heels to touch your toes in a plie position. Drop your hips down. We're going to move into some frogs, the Kundalini frogs. So when you straighten your legs, breathe in, don't straighten them all the way. Breathe out when you drop your hips down again. Heels pressing firmly into each other. That's part of the posture. Fingers on spidey fingers. Breathe in, breathe out. We're aiming for 26 of these. That's the magic Kundalini number. I'm on 4. Go at a pace that feels comfortable. I'm going to set a pace that is a powerful wake up Kundalini breath. Six, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop your hips to the ground for just a moment. Take a breath in and then straighten your legs, fold over your legs. You can do those 26, 52, 108 times. Swing your arms up and over with a deep breath in, raise high, hands pressed together above your head at prayer pose. Shift to the left with a breath out, to center to a breath in, to the right to a breath out. Just some good waking up our side bodies. Come to the center, breath in, and shift your hips back into a chair pose. Arms up, pressing forward, prayer pose, waking up our quads and our hamstrings. Bring your hands to heart center. And then with the breath in, stretch all the way up to Tadasana. To a breath out, hands together at heart center. Chair flows. Waking our bodies up. Gratitude for our bodies. One of the most beautiful places we can begin our optimism. Drop into chair pose, hands pressing together, and shift your elbows to the left into a chair twist. So pressing your right elbow firmly into your thigh, hands at heart center, pressing firmly into each other. Breathe deeply. I tend to keep my chair pose with my knees, my feet a couple inches apart. You can have your big toe touching your heels just out a little bit. Come back to center, reach up, breath in, stretch, stretch, stretch up, and then drop back into chair pose again, and twist to the right. Gazing over to the right side of your room, wherever you're at. Breathe in, breathe out, and now fold all the way forward. Beautiful. Go ahead and grab your big toes with your fingers, or depending on how flexible you are, you can hold on to your ankles or your shins. We are going to arch our backs. So we're almost in a cow pose where if you need to bend your knees, but you want to have a good arch in your lower lumbar spine, just gazing forward a couple inches, a couple feet. Just breathe deeply in this kind of standing cow pose. Deep breath in. This is all part of a Kriya for optimism and happiness. And now from this just pose, it's a little awkward. Our knees may be bent. Maybe you can straighten your knees a little bit more now. You're holding on firmly to your big toes. Begin breath of fire. Belly snapping into your spine. With your exhale, your belly snaps in. With your inhale, it's just a passive inhale. Five, four, three, two, one. Rise all the way up to stand with the breath in. Arms overhead, hands interlaced together, pressing firmly into the top of your head. So you're pressing yourself down. We're just doing a really good activating today Kriya movements. So I'm moving quickly from each one, just waking ourselves up. Pressing firmly into your head. Lift your left leg up, leg lift, knee up, down. Breath in with the right leg, knee up, down. So these are our leg lifts, alternating. Knee lifts. Pressing firmly into your head. Spine straight. Where can you invite a greater spirit of optimism into your life? Is it the way you think of your body, your job, your family members, specific family members, friends, what's in your future? Keep it up. Pressing firmly. All right, stop the pose for a moment and then lift your right knee up and try and hold that pose for just a few steady breaths. Your left knee is up. You're pressing firmly into your head as you balance for just a moment. Keeping yourself balanced is a fun prospect of optimism practice. And then drop that left knee and begin your leg lifts again. Left knee up, right knee up. We won't go as long this time. Pressing firmly into your head. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right knee up, pressing firmly. Flex your right foot. Press firmly into your head with your interlaced fingers. Hold. Breathe about it. Breathe. Falling out, coming back in. That is what we do in life. And then release that right foot down, release your hands down. Take a deep breath. Step to the front of your mat if you're not already there. Hands up, prayer pose. Swing your arms up and overhead, stretch up high, prayer pose, and then bring those through your heart center, down to the ground, fold forward. Press into your shins, halfway lift with a breath in. With a breath out, place your hands on your mat, flow through a vinyasa, upward facing dog, cobra, and then come to your knees, onto the top of your knees in rock pose. All right, we are now going to come to our bums. And if you can, this is part of the Kriya, we are going to shift up into a boat pose. So if you need to have your hands under your thighs, go ahead and pull those in. Otherwise, if you have it where you could grab your 2 toes, your big toes, balance on your bum, straighten your legs, and we're going to be here just for some deep breaths, pulling your belly into your spine, gazing up at your hands that are holding your feet. Deep breaths in and out through your nose. Balance, you've got this. 15 more seconds. Hold those tummy abs in for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release those to the ground. Your legs are out in front of you. Go ahead and lean over your legs in a nice forward stretch. Now come to an easy pose, and we are going to do a breathwork pattern. That's the Kriya for discovering the original you, which I think is the space of our hearts, is one of hope, one of seeing possibilities, one of optimism. So let me just show you how this is going to look. You're going to interlace your hands together and then push them out in front of you. And your elbows are going to be locked strong. You are going to hold this position for about 5 minutes as we do this breathing pattern. So we're going to be breathing in first, arms out straight. Then we're going to have a tall spine and we're going to breathe in for 10 seconds, hold for 10 seconds, breathe out for 10 seconds. That's the first breathing pattern. As close as you can get to that 10-second mark, 6, 7, 8, great. Then at a point, I'm going to cue you and you're going to breathe in. And then you're going to do a cannon breath. You're going to breathe in through your nose and then you're going to cannon breath out through your mouth. And then once we move from that breathing for about a minute, keeping your arms, don't drop them. We're going to be breathing in as much as we can, and then we're going to breathe out. And we're going to pump our bellies like we're doing the breath of fire, but we don't have any air in us. So as many times as you can, pump your belly. When you get out of breath, you're going to breathe in again, breathe out, and then pump your belly again. At a certain point, I will cue you. This is, I know, a strange breath pattern. To hold your finger up, number one, fingers. And we're going to spin our arms outwards as fast as we can, moving that energy. So hopefully that makes sense. Just follow with me. Bring your arms out, interlace, push arms forward, begin. Deep, slow, steady breath in. Hold for as many seconds as you breathed in, and then breathe out for the same equal ratio. The main focus here is just good, steady breath work. In through the nose, hold, out through the nose. Breath in, hold, out through the nose. You've got this in your arms. Just believe me, let the body do what it does. Powerful Kriya breathwork pattern for dropping into you. About 20 more seconds like this, slow, steady breathing. Keep your arms up, straighten your elbows. Don't think about them except when I remind you. Breathing in and out. 10 more seconds like this. Keeping your arms like this, don't drop them. Let the magic happen. Now we breathe in deeply through our nose and we push that cannon out through our O-shaped lips, breathing out. Breathe in all the way up. Push that cannon out. Projecting your energy out. Breathe in, cannon breath out. Don't focus on your arms. Pulling that air all the way up from your root chakra all the way up to the top of your head, and then push that air out through your mouth. You've got this. Just about 20 more seconds like this. I know you're feeling it in your arms. Keep it up, keep it up. You're going to be feeling heat in your body. Do 3 more of those cannon breaths and then keep your arms like this. Keeping your arms like this. Deep breath in. Push all your air out of you and then pump your belly like breath of fire with no air in you. As many times as you can pump. And then you're going to take a deep breath in again and a deep breath out. And then you're going to pump your belly again. You've got this. Keep your arms out straight. Breath in, breath out. And then with an empty belly, pump your belly in. To your spine, you're pumping that breath through as many times as you can until you have to take a deep breath in, deep breath out, and then pump your belly again. As many times, it could be 10, 15, 20 times of pumping your belly. Keep your arms straight. You've got this. You've got this. Breath in, breath out, pump. 20 more seconds left doing this. Deep breath in, deep breath out. You should be feeling a ton of energy in your body. 10 more seconds breathing in and then pumping, breathing out and pumping your belly. Now I want you to take a deep breath in, hold your breath for 15 seconds. Deep breath in and hold, hold, hold. Push out all that breath. Deep breath in. Hold for 15 seconds. We're going to go over just by about 1 minute. Now bring your arms to number one, your fingers to number one, breathing slowly, circles that are rotating out from your body. So from your heart outwards, spinning your fingers as fast as you can. This is moving energy faster, faster, breathing deeply. 10, 9, pushing out, 8, 7, faster, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, palms facing up on your knees. Close your eyes, regular breath. Allow yourself to process and feel the shift in your body from that unique breath pattern. Breathing deeply in and out. Our intention. Optimism is my natural state of being. My thoughts, feelings, and actions are aligned to optimism and possibility. I am a giver of optimism and happiness to all of those around me. I'm going to take just a moment to share our mindfulness activity as you sit and breathe just quickly. The rubber band snap. If you have a tendency or want to experiment with your thoughts towards negativity, possibly criticism, judgment towards other people, place a rubber band on your wrist at all times. Whenever you have an unwanted negative thought that enters your mind, a judgment, a criticism, pull that rubber band, let it snap your wrist. Nothing painful, nothing red, maybe leaving a red mark. When it snaps back, you shout the word stop. I know this sounds crazy. This is a psychological tool. Stop. Then think of a big red stop sign. So you're telling your body through these cues, stop. Don't want this anymore. Take a deep breath in and out once you've done that. And then ideally, it's recommended you take a big glass, a good sip of water. So this is just the rubber band snap. If you want to be training yourself towards hopefulness, confidence of the future and outcomes, that is one way to stop any negative thoughts that are going on. And then get outside, acknowledge the beauty around, express gratitude, lean into possibility. Bring your hands to heart center. I know that was a lot. Rub them briskly together, heart center, getting some warmth in your hands, bringing them to your heart center, thumbs pressing in, acknowledging the beauty of your waking up today. One more practice together. We close with a long sigh and a short nom, acknowledging each of our true identities. Deep breath in. Sigh. Sat Nam. Namaste. Keep your eye out for the Facebook post about this so that if you want to go back to anything we've talked about. Much love to you, friends, and I'll see you Thursday.